Hello, and welcome to another episode. If you're new to the channel, I'm Jonathan, co founder of Parent Portfolio, author of Rent or Mortgage Free Living How Smart People Optimize Their Finances, and I am a frugal millionaire. Today, I'm going to be watching and reacting to living on $27,000 a year in Seattle, and I'll also be sharing my personal insight, tips, and recommendations. But before we begin, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. Now, without any further ado, let's get started.
My name is Chi Bake. I'm 26 years old. I make $27,000 a year and I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm a PhD student at the University of Washington and I'm studying special education. When I first decided that I was going to switch to teaching, my parents weren't thrilled, but it is something that I knew I wanted to do and it was important to me. But knowing that teachers are not very well compensated, I think that definitely pushed me to think about higher education even more and pursuing higher goals. I've always kind of known I wanted to do higher education, but it definitely was honestly very difficult teaching during COVID. And I thought that I could use a little break from it. So I decided to pursue my doctorate earlier than I thought.
So, initially, she went to school for business and then switched to education and now pursuing a doctorate. I can't help but think about college debt. And I have no problem with people going to college and pursuing higher education. But the key point here is treating college as an investment because you really are spending money on education. And the idea is that you are actually going to yield a profit, a benefit, where it would yield enough money to one, pay down your debts, your daily expenses, and even set aside for the future. The question is, with her pursuit of this kind of education, will it be a good ROI? Let's continue.
Education was always really highly valued in my family. And also personally, I just like school. I'm kind of a nerd. Growing up, my family did struggle with money a little bit, and they definitely were savers and we saved a lot. And seeing that, I think I kind of went the opposite direction of like when I have my own money, I want to buy myself some things that I want because I didn't necessarily get everything I wanted as a kid.
If you look at her expenses for January, that's about 3,200. Now multiply that across 12 months, that's a little over $36,000 a year in expenses. What does that mean? That means her income cannot support her lifestyle. And it was interesting is that she calls her parents savers, yet she was not able to adopt that style or maybe even see value in it. I am all for spending money on yourself, treating yourself, but at what cost do you spend money and put yourselves in debt? This is something that I really would like to ask her. Um, is she aware that her spending habits is definitely exceeding what she makes? Let's continue.
I do not like to cook, but because of my budget, I've been doing HelloFresh meals, and I know that's a little bit more expensive than me going to the grocery store, buying my own groceries and cooking, but because I feel like I don't have that skill set, the HelloFresh meals I think definitely are worth the money in my budget. In terms of eating out, I definitely eat out a lot less than I did back home.
So it's really interesting here because she says she doesn't like to cook, and she also mentions that she lacks the skill set. However, these kind of luxuries, especially when your budget's kind of tight, you kind of have to make some sacrifices and say, hey, I know it's kind of easier, but because of our financial situation, we can't afford that right now. So I've done these meal kits before, and I agree they are super convenient. But you know what? They cost money, and when your expenses are exceed your income, you kind of don't have that luxury. I'm sorry, but you have to learn how to cook. And I mean, these meal kits, it's a recipe. All it really is doing is taking out the work of finding the ingredients, separating that for you, and you still got to cook the food yourself, right? If anything, she could take this moment, save off that recipe, and go grocery shopping herself and apply it herself. I think it really comes down to, does she really want to learn how to cook?
I think that life is short and we should enjoy it. I know that I could be a little bit more responsible with my money, but I do think that I'm not irresponsible with my money, and I believe in getting myself things that I want from time to time for sure. My splurges are definitely like makeup, skincare, nails, perfumes is a really big one for me that I probably spend a little bit too much on. But it's something that makes me happy and I think it's worth it. So right now I'm not really saving any of the money that I'm getting. I do have some credit card debt.
So she acknowledges that she is not saving any of her income for savings. And definitely living below your means is a way to pay down debt. Unfortunately, she's not doing that. Another thing that she did not mention is that she is not investing for a future. You know, we work to maintain our daily living, just to get by every day. At the same time, we need to set aside money for our financial future where we can retire or maybe even not be fully dependent on our job.
Watching how my parents handle money made me careful with my money. I never really saw them like invest their money or anything like that. So I don't really know how to do anything like that. And I do rely heavily on my brother for that sort of advice. And I think he kind of learned on his own. I have almost $70,000 saved in my retirement accounts.
I stand corrected. It looks like she's set aside some money for retirement. But one thing I want to note here is that it was through the advice of her brother. And kudos to him for actually giving her some advice. But what's really important is that she herself internally needs to value this retirement, because if she doesn't understand what she's working for, if she doesn't have the proper mindset, then she's going to start to kind of fall off the wagon or not keep up with it. It's great, like I said, she has family that's pushing her, but when it comes to any kind of goal, you have to really understand what you're trying to achieve, because you yourself are the motivator to achieve your goals.
Out. During the 4 years of my PhD, I do expect to make around the same amount of money. There are opportunities for me to apply for more funding, but that would require more work, and I feel like my workload is pretty heavy as is, so I think it'll stay the same. I think when I first graduate, I definitely still do want to work with people, so maybe some sort of director role in a school system, but eventually I do see myself in academia doing research. My big picture financial goals once I graduate school would be to get a decently paying job, start paying my brother back, and start saving my own money, my regular savings account, and definitely add to my retirement some more too. I think I will still continue to kind of live the way I'm living now, money philosophy wise, like still treating myself. I do hope that I will be responsible once I do start making a little bit more money. You hear $27,000 and you're like, that's so little money. But it is very doable, and I feel very grateful that I'm making that much.
What I find very interesting is that she says that she does not plan on changing her money philosophy. She believes that $27,000 is doable, but in reality, the numbers say it doesn't. Doing $3,200 a month, times that by 12, that's over $36,000 a year in expenses. Her expenses, her lifestyle is exceeding her income. That is not doable. So, what I recommend for her is define, she needs to define what her money goals are. Where does she want to be in 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years? Does she want to work forever? That's something that she needs to figure out. But right now, while she's living in this moment and treating herself all the time, I really say put a pause on the fun, entertainment, delay that gratification, start saving up some money. I mean, relocate, go to a lower cost of living place where her dollar will go a longer way, and then build up those emergency fund, set up those systems in place where then she could one day move back to a place that she enjoys. So what do you think? Do you think that $27,000 in Seattle is doable? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share with me any other videos you'd love me to watch and react to. Once again, thank you for your support, thank you for your time, and have yourself a great day. All right, bye.